What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 18 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Mannfred von Carstein Immortal Empires campaign. So as we saw last time, Athel Loren has fallen, and even as momentous as that might be, it's nowhere near as important as the fact that we also finally managed to confederate Vlad. Daddy's back, and well, we have Castle Drakenhof and Templehof with him, which means we get to start on the Malevolent Museum and the doubling of the effects of the Books of Nagash, which will be hopefully pretty nice. The magic item drop chance plus 50% increase, that would be a real swell. And Abhishek the Blood Gatherer has the commandment doubling one as well, which will be pretty darn solid. Hero success chance for assassination if we get the first Book of Nagash from Skaven Blight would be quite swell. And replenishes 20% campaign movement range after defeating a lord for faction leader doubled up would also be quite nice. And the ward save for Graveguard and Black Knight. So there's a lot of good stuff around. Just gotta get to it. Now, as promised at the end of last episode, there was a lot of admin involved. Every single lord and hero and whatnot in Vlad's faction had items on them. So I had to take all those off and figure all that out. And at the same time, sort of delete two of the armies that were full of chaff here and sort of just replace or keep the units that were needed and then get a few more, because Vlad obviously will be getting a full army. So lots of admin there. I did a little bit of the itemization between the episodes as well. Not all of it obviously, because it's quite a hassle, but we have started racking up some items and they needed to be distributed. Unfortunately, most of the items that we've got in recent times were of the type to go to heroes and not for lords, but most of our lords are doing okay. He's also decided to summon Mannfred von Carstein here, who will be the leader of our doggo army. So we summoned a few more doggos, and we need 5 more bats in the bad army, since they're 15 out of 20, so a few more bats for them, since we can't raise any more here. All of this will be fine, as all of these armies are looking to join together and deal with all that. Oh, should probably give Hilbrand here some items out, but it's not like it really matters. At least not right now, since he's a follower army, even if he is a von Carstein army. Anyway, I believe we are good to go to end the turn, because I'm pretty sure I did all of the admin between the episodes, but I'm not 100% sure. You have not moved. Now it's because you're exhausted, eh? Can you... No. Alright, a real quick double check of all of this after all that admin. Recruiters. Can you recruit anything interesting? Alright, we do want the Blood Dragon Warriors, but I think we'll wait until we have greater capacity of them. Do you need to transfer units? You know what? Maybe. Move here. I figure if we transfer units to you, we can use you as a sort of unit ferry, and then I guess you can do the same thing once you get them. Anyway, I'm just going to end the turn because I don't know if there is other things to do or not, and we shall see. I also did move a few extra armies around because I was looking to end the turn, but I didn't do it because it was already so much admin. So yeah, Kemler, I wanted to attack Belegar, Iron Hammer here, or at least move very, very close to him, but that's not happening. And we're moving the Red Duke towards Grommy. Let's see if any of that pays off. Alright, I didn't see that. There's another Dwarven army nearby. We'll see if they do anything about this afterwards. Kyros is asking for peace. That's not... Oh! He's going to sally out against Mannfred? Well, that's kind of surprising. But impressive. Alright, I'm proud of you, Kyros. Good job. I don't know what you see here, but I don't think you're going to... pull this off. Then again, he does have a lot of the Spawn of Tzeentch. Armor sundering on them and lots of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Yeah, there's a lot of these guys. 8 of them. And a lot of Flamers, which will be very, very effective against our Graveguard. A couple of volleys and a Graveguard unit would be obliterated pretty much instantly, especially with the fire weakness, and all of the Tzeentch units, or a lot of the Tzeentch units, have the Warp Flame and fire attacks as well. So that's going to be fun. Go.
Cure is dead.
Alrighty, here we go. Let's hope that the pleasant surprise of Kyros actually deciding to move against us rather than wait for his timely demise is not wasted here, and he gives us a proper fight. Now, we do have reinforcements coming in from the enemy garrison as Kyros decided to move out against us here, and ooh, the Spirit Leech actually works nicely with his color scheme. Anyway, Manny will go directly for Kyros, who will use the Gaze of Fate to stop him in his tracks and reduce his melee attack to basically nothing. 9 melee attack. Not to worry though, we can tank the hit side wager and we can heal ourselves up if we can't, and more importantly, we can keep dropping spells on the enemy. The first spell, of course, will be Spirit Leech on Kyros. And the second will be Fate of Biuna on the Flamers. As we've already decided or discussed, Flamers are going to be the major threat here, so we gotta be careful about their volleys. Our units of Varric's Reavers, led by Varric the Blade, will charge into the enemy Chaos Spawn, and supported as they are by the Furies. And over on the right flank, ooh, looks like the Chaos Knights have enough mass to charge directly through the Barrow heroes here, but perhaps not the right move on their part, because sure, and they've been able to knock down and disrupt the formation, but they charged right through them into the halberdiers behind them, which means the halberds will start bringing those chaos forces, or chaos knights rather, down. The rest of our forces are engaging as best they can. Chaos spawn embroiled against in the fight against piles of Graveguard, and it looks like a unit of flamers decided to try to escape our black knights which were chasing them, and moved into our battle line to die instead. Oh, probably not the Black Knights, but that was the one that got hit by the Fate of Biuna. Speaking of the Black Knights, they're just running around now, chasing down any and every one of those flamers, as we can't be letting them fire off a shot if we want our Graveguard to survive. Kyros is still in the fight with Manny, and that's probably going to last a fair while, but we're causing absolute havoc in his background as the pink, blue, and exalted horrors are all engaged with the Black Knights and getting torn to pieces. And Varric the Blade is in here somewhere, doing Varric Blade things. Alright, and it looks like we are fairly decently capable of taking down Chaos Spawn of Tzeentch with the Black Knights, which I'm happy with, as I figured these guys might have a little bit of a tough time dealing with them. Main line looks pretty okay. The enemy center has collapsed, but hardly surprising, as that was where the Claw of Nagash was deployed, and the enemy was just not going to outdo this thing unless it were to focus it down in a range, which the enemy just didn't have. The enemy reinforcements are here, however. More and more Chaos Spawn have arrived onto the field, and ooh, gonna get a few volleys from the Exalted Flamer. Gonna have to try to run it down as best we can. Kyros down to 30% of his HP, and speaking of running things down, the Black Knights are back into it, charging through those piles of pink horrors to get to the enemy flamers and prevent them from firing off too many shots. Nice shot of blue fire into one of our Necromancer, who loses about 15 to 20% of its HP, and damn, I'm quite impressed at how long Kyros has been holding on. I guess Oracle of Eternity, with the massive amount of ward save that it gives him, probably allows him to survive in a fight like this for a fairly long time, even if he can't deal melee damage and is reliant on spellwork to do such work. That said, he can't last forever, and it looks like Kyros is just about done for. One more Spirit Leech, and Big Bird will fall from the sky. There we go, one last miscast on Mannfred by the looks of it. Was that a miscast? Yeah, it was, just as Kyros fell. A parting shot, but, well, it's not going to change matters. Anyway, now with Kyros gone, it's just a matter of breaking apart the last of his Chaos Spawn, as by the looks of it, his range are pretty much all destroyed at this point. And those that aren't destroyed are still very much engaged. Lots and lots of Chaos Spawn, all unbreakable, of course, to deal with. But surrounded as they are by not Depth Guard. I wish we had some Depth Guard, not in this army, but in other armies. But the Grave Guard, they probably won't last all that much longer. Gotta love those halberds, really helping us out. And there we are. By the looks of it, the last of the Tzeentchian army shatters and gives the battle to us. A couple more Chaos Spawn remaining, but the rest of their demons have melted away, and now just a few more seconds, a few more hits as we bring down the last of the spawn. And everybody working together nicely, the Black Knights together with the Graveguard and all. And this is the only army of ours that is going to be all Graveguard and Black Knights. Red Duke is going to be close, but of course he'll have a bunch of Blood Knights as well. There we go, heroic victory for us, perhaps the... I don't remember what the auto-resolve said, but, well, let's just say we expected it to be such. Or at least Manny did, but he expects every victory to be heroic, and no matter how many times he fails. Alrighty, a very nice fight and a fairly lengthy duel between Kyros and Manny there. Interesting that he did choose to sally out and attack us. I'm a little bit surprised, but considering we weren't sieging, so he could have run away, but I guess the AI thought that they had a chance here. Unfortunately for them, not so much. Plenty of cash, no losses, or at the very least those losses that were had were revived, and yeah, very nice. Way too many range units for them to deal with the Black Knights. And speaking of the Black Knights, at 21k, it looks like the weights of the 9 carried the day, though very close to them were the Impalers and the Tattered Banner Knights. As for the Graveguard, by a fair bit, once again, the Holenwachter, although... I mean, generally I think that they probably are superior due to the armor-piercing weapon damage +5 really helping them out. Once again, I really wish that you could put multiple banners in a single army. It's kind of silly that you can't do copies. But anyway, after them were Mannfred's Glory, living up to their name. Good job to all of them. Anyway, we are going to, I guess, return the captives. We hardly need to heal up. We could do the murder captives, but once again, we still do need a fair bit of cash. And... Kyros is down, so he can't get his defeat trade again, unfortunately, but oh well. Tretch Craven to... Ah. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. He knew what was coming. He waited the 10 turns. We were going to declare war on him this turn, and he'll preemptively declare war on us this turn. Kind of interesting. Rework Slice Blade is here, but as I recall, he has some kind of weak half stack. I don't see Tretch himself. Thramute. I guess we'll see. Color allies to help. And ambush. That's not so good. By Tretch. Is it by... Is this Tretch? Yeah, this is Tretch, isn't it? Lucky Skullhelm. Well, the fact that the AI chose to ambush this army probably means that this army is going to get destroyed, I'd wager. And we just got Hildebrand on the field, too. Well, that's unfortunate, but, well, you can't win everything, I guess. So, yeah, poor Hildebrand just got on the field and then got screwed over. I guess we'll fight it. We'll probably do it manually, because I expect that it'll probably be a proper force against our bat force, which can't do anything as yet, especially since we don't have buffs for them on Hildebrand as yet, and we don't have the vampire to give them recovery or anything like that, so, yeah. And I'm pretty sure since he's in March stance, he can't escape either. Fortunately, the vampires themselves are immortal, and I suppose the bats are easily recoverable. A little bit annoying, but, well, nonetheless, good job to Tretch for doing this. He was never going to get a better opportunity, and yeah, that's a lot of enemies. A lot of them are ground-based, though, so if we really wanted to, you go after the Warlock Engineer. Maybe try to... Oh, I'm actually surprised that the Warlock Engineer isn't casting anti-air at us. You go here. You guys all go here. We'll see what we can do, if anything, about any of this. Go after the Skaven Slave Spears. You go after the Skaven Slave Spears. You guys sort of hover around. We'll see how much damage they're able to do to them. Are the bats strong enough to kill at least Skaven slaves is the question. What is this? Getting into Plague Monks here. You don't have any raised dead, but, well, Plague Monks are fairly fragile, so yeah. And, oh wow, they're actually losing? How are you losing to Skaven Slave Spears? 41 melee attack, but you have... 39 melee defense because of the debuff. Oh, I guess the melee defense is kind of screwing you over, isn't it? Well, what can you do? More Skaven Slaves out here. Just try to help them out. Destroy as many of them as you can. Warlock Engineer ain't dying. No, actually, you two, well, at least one of you. They're not attacking him. Wonder why. I guess the ambush battles are a little bit iffy. Well, we're not going to win this, but we can do a little bit of damage, so that's what we're going to do. And you guys go here. You two stay near this guy. And I would like to mob that unit of Plague Monks if possible. So, okay, you guys go down here. You guys get ready to go after these other range units. And Plague Monks are coming now, so get ready to hit them, and then you hit them as well. You can at least heal them up and buff them up while you're at it. Alright, there you go. Alright, you guys go after range units. These are Skaven Slave Slingers and Gutter Runner. Okay, the Gutter Runners you probably won't be winning against, but whatever. Looks like some of the Skaven Slaves are booking it on out of there. I wonder how many we could potentially force to right here. Okay, there they are. Heal up the Hellbats. Fellbats. Maybe I should name some of them Hellbats. We have Hell Steeds, why not some Hellbats? Anyway, you guys back off now, and ooh. Might hit your own units with that. Funnily enough, if we had buffs on our units, as in if this was a, if this wasn't a unbuffed army, we probably could have won this with just bats. And just needed a couple of levels to power these things up and, well, the vampire that gives them recovery. I think. Or at the very least, we could have won against Tretch's army. Probably not the reinforcements. I don't know what's in the enemy army, but it's probably better than what we've got going on here. Anyway, land and attack, please. Now, the enemy keep running even while we're attacking them. But anyway, try to chase down as many as you can. You guys have moved away. Go after the more isolated units back here. You can move away. And I guess you guys just keep chasing. How's Mr. Hillbrand? He is... okay, he's now surrounded. Well, lucky the vampires are immortal, so... because we don't really care about him, but... I hope I didn't... did I give him any items? I don't remember. Because in losing, he will have, well, lost the items. Ooh! If they try this again, though, because he was traveling right beside... he was traveling right beside Wilmar of the Thousand Wings, so we might be able to, if they ambush us again, destroy both of these armies with Wilmar and turn the ambush on its head. Anyway, heal yourself up, buddy. Okay, you know what, let's just speed this up. I don't even know why I'm bothering to do this, just sort of for fun. You know what, you guys, all of you go over here and... is that a Warlock Engineer? No, it's Plague Priest. All of you go over here and then mob that Plague Claw Catapult. And just do what you can before you melt away. Well, I guess it was the right move to get more bats on field, because, well, we're gonna need a lot more bats. Alrighty. Bats everywhere. Try to knock out that Plague Claw Catapult. Maybe tear at least that unit apart. And they're down to 2. Good. Alright. At least we managed to destroy the Plague Claw. That's something. There is another unit I'd like to destroy, which is the unit of Death Globes, but there is a unit of Warp Grinders right beside them, so I don't think they'd let us do it anyway. Alright, charge both of these guys at it, I guess. And before you melt away, they're on crumbling, and they melt away as they touch down. Alright. Let's see if they try that again. Anyway, still lost about 1,000 units. Hillbrand will be wounded, presumably. Well, we had one unit that could have gone after the Warlock Engineer. Would have really preferred to have killed the Warlock Engineer off, though I am very surprised that we didn't see any uses of the Howling Warp Gale to stop our bats in their tracks. Still, some of them did their damage, and we should probably name one of the recovered ones, one of the ones we get back after these guys to commemorate. Huh. What is this? Shab. Who is Shab? Looking pretty shabby. I think it's just, okay, it's just this clan scry. That's not what we were looking for here. Oh, I also gotta remember to put the Scarecrow banner in their flying army. You can... actually, wow, that hurt the ghouls a lot. You can... tiny amount of money. Dominate captives, I guess. And what is this, another one? Okay. Okay, still wasted time because the Scorpions would destroy them. Oh, we got a free Razor Standard out of it, though. Heal up again. Alright, well, Tretch didn't attack us, but that might mean he's near enough to the proper flying army for them to attack. Okay. The game keeps interrupting my thoughts with different things. Oh, wow. That's a lot of artillery and a lot of range units, huh? Alright, Kemler, it's Belegar and 2 full stacks of doors. Man, we're getting some... this is an interesting end turn. Damn, lots of stuff is happening. But I am glad of it. I'm glad of it indeed. We'll see how Belegar can take on Corel. He's got solid stats. Artillery shouldn't be a huge issue for us because we have the hex rates, but we shall see. The sheer number of enemies might start to tell, and the fact that we don't actually have a lot of mana yet in Kemler's army. Go. Alrighty, here we go, Belegar, and a big old pile of artillery pieces between the two armies. He basically has a full stack of nothing but artillery, and then a smattering of troops together with him. Should be pretty interesting, though unfortunately for Belegar, this type of army composition does not work against Kemler's type of army composition. Sure, if he was facing off against our Graveguard heavy troops, or even our zombie armies, they'd probably be able to do massive damage to them, but the ghosties are all in stock. They're Vanguard deployable, they're fast, and they're by and large nearly immune to physical damage. And suddenly hex rates appear in the back of your army, charging the rear formation of quarrelers and the artillery crews, and allowing the Cairn rates and the spirit hosts to close the distance as well. Not fired off a single shot on any of those artillery pieces by the looks of it, and here comes Kemler himself with his 3 White Kings, soon to be 4. And getting ready to summon Krell right on top of Belegar to start their duel. And there we go, Belegar's army is already in horrendous shape, and it's going to be a scary sight for the reinforcing army to see. They have arrived with it. They will arrive, hopefully, to a completely silent battlefield. All of their friends destroyed, and all the ghosts invisible once more. Krell is on the field now, but it looks like Belegar has called forth a few hammerers to aid him, though it looks like Krell will miss a few hits on Belegar and kill a few hammerers instead, which is probably just fine. And gotta be wary of the hammerers, however, as they do have magical damage on those runic hammers of theirs. But if they want to focus Krell, they can simply hit them in the flanks with the Cairn rates, and their own armor piercing and that of the hex rates will drop their HP very, very rapidly. And ooh, Grudge Settler hammers are tier 5 units. Well, that's great for them, but the tier 3 Cairn rates and the tier 4 hex rates should be able to clear them out just fine like this, while Krell continues to focus down Belegar. Alright, does anybody remember, does Krell increase with power as Kemler increases with power, or is his current level the strongest that he ever gets? I'm just kind of curious, but anyway, enemy reinforcements are here. We haven't managed to quite destroy the first enemy army before they got here, but it's pretty much done for. Still at least a few units fighting in sort of the middle of all this big blob, but they're getting absolutely torn apart. And our slower moving elements of this army, including the Barrow Guardians, are all on the approach, slowly but surely inching their way to the battlefield where the ghosties are running amok. Now the hex rates have peeled away from the main battle and used their speed to to get into the forest where new artillery crews have arrived, and that means more for their scythes to reap. And then more artillery crews to hopefully silence so that they don't fire into the midst of our formations. Alright, balance of power looks to be in our favor now. Belegar's lost about 40% of his HP, and the Demon Slayer that has arrived is completely surrounded here. Does he have magical damage? Just out of curiosity here. I could just select you, buddy. No, not Spirit Hosts. I don't think I'm gonna manage to select him. Wait, maybe his flag... I guess he does have magical damage, so yeah, he might be able to kill off a few units. In theory. Before he gets surrounded and ripped apart, which he definitely will here, as he's nearly done for. Belegar's down below half HP now, and the ghostly units are leaving the first army and are now heading towards the reinforcements, even as the hex rates have already been working down. Ow! A brutal death for the Demon Slayer. Well, he's a demon slayer. He's not a wraith slayer, so he didn't. Although interesting point. There is an argument to be made that hex wraiths might actually be demons of more, essentially. So might actually work for the demon slayer. But anyway, because hex wraiths and Cairn wraiths are just completely different creatures, even if they are similar. In appearance, at least. Alright, well, it looks like with that, the enemy army is done for. They will shatter. I believe Belegar has been defeated somewhere, or at the very least run down. Yep, that's him. We saw that. Wait, that's not him. I assume he got ripped apart somewhere. Wait. No, that's a Thunderer. Well, let's just say we saw his HP dropping, and I assume that there he is, that he lost somewhere. And we watched the Demon Slayer die instead, but it might have been a little bit more interesting. Besides, I expect, considering the sheer size of Belegar's faction, we will see him again. Nice job to Kemler. Yet again, his army grows in strength and will continue to do so. Alright, there we go. That went pretty darn well. Didn't even need the Barrow Guardians or the Skeleton Spears or all that sort of stuff, I guess. Frankly, Ghosties are a pretty perfect counter to dwarven armies, like 90% of the time. Sure, if you're facing off against hammers, you might struggle a little bit because of their magical damage on them, but generally speaking, stalking, highly maneuverable, immune to physical, and very, very speedy, and Vanguard deployable and all that sort of stuff makes the Ghosties very nasty for Belegar and any dwarf faction to deal with, as Kemler has proven. And a nice debut for him, I suppose his first proper battle by himself without the Red Duke babysitting him was against the Widows, but this worked out quite nicely as well. We'll return the captives because we are relatively unharmed. 8 units, and that was me just being too lazy to recover all of them, as we recovered enough. And damage-wise, ooh, several of the Hex, or a couple of the units of Hex Wraiths did massive damage. Frankly, the Cairn Wraiths did as well. The Spirit Hosts, relatively minor damage, but they're there mostly to tank and to debuff enemies, which I'm sure they did fairly well. Too bad you can't see Krell here at the end, but oh well. Return captives. Now, back to Tretch and what we were doing before. Also, I guess while the turn is ending, a heck of an end turn though. Engagement threshold. Yes, we reached it. Yes, this is going to be a longer episode, and the threshold remains at 300 likes and 50 comments, and the next episode will be an hour long as well. Draca, I'm sorry, I would absolutely love to peace out and ally with you, but alas, you hold a very important territory to us, and Mordheim and the landmark therein that powers up all of our bats, which they clearly need, as we've already seen. Snorko wants a peace treaty now. And what is this? Snorko is going to okay, I guess we're fighting at man, what an end turn. All the fights today. Are we even going to get to the next turn before this particular end turn ends, or this particular episode ends? Lots of nice stuff in Snorko's army. Buffed up pump wagons and Ragnarok Spider, highly leveled. Another fun thing for the ghouls to do, and they won't be able to take advantage of their Vanguard deployments since they're attacking Baron Steinhoff, who we are using as bait, which I guess did work out, but maybe not quite in the manner that we wanted it to go.
I'll have their blood.
Alrighty, here we go. Hey, nice to see a generic vampire lord. We haven't been using any of them, mostly because they're more expensive than necros, and for follower armies, the necromancers with their actual buffs to the army are generally superior to the generic vampire lords, at the very least in army support, if not in personal physical prowess. Anyway, here we go. Looks like a big old pile of pretty elite, or at the very least a high veterancy units, and there are certainly a few units like the Ragnarok and the pump wagons which will be difficult for the ghouls to face off against. Thus, we are positioning ourselves in a very particular way. So we've moved, we were deployed out here, we've moved our new lord here, and we'll be moving onto the map over on this side of the map. There's two reasons for this. One is that it's choke pointy on two sides, and two, well, technically three sides, but it's not like the enemy are going to go like this. But anyway, it's choke pointy and it's uphill, so we can draw the enemy forward and then allow our ghouls, in particular our crypt horrors, to block off the choke points and prevent the faster moving units and the pump wagons from charging and annoying our more fragile regular ghouls. Looks like the enemy will lead with a squig herd heading directly towards us. Fairly decent stats on them, and man, I can't wait to play greenskins again just to make very squig-heavy armies. Now that we have the Mangler squigs and the Colossal squigs, I guess we did have the Colossal squigs at least in SFO for a while, but anyway. It'll be very fun is what I'm getting at. Anyway, our lord has found the enemy lord who is attempting to escape, but the Terrorgeist shriek slows him down, and we will continue going after him. Norco Weirdy will continue to escape, or attempt to escape, but yeah, the addition of the Terrorgeist for our lord here is probably the right decision. Once again, it's just like the zombie dragons with the other lords. Yeah, Hellsteeds are cool, and it doesn't feel like you should need dragons and Terrorgeists everywhere, but the mass that they offer allow lords to hunt things and not get bogged down by the mass of other units, both friendly and enemy. Anyway, looks like the spiders have arrived. Spider armies are also really fun. When I played Grimgor, I think the spider army was probably my favorite army. Or at least very close to it. And now that we have more Ragnarok types to enjoy, that'll be fun to play around with as well. Anyway, it looks like our ghouls didn't quite manage to reach the choke points that they wanted to, but, well, they reached the left one and are slowly moving towards the right one. The enemy leadership is not quite where the enemy wants it to be, and oh wow, look at those pump wagons rolling through our ghouls. But even if they can roll right through the piles of ghouls as they escape, that doesn't mean that they can do damage to them, because they can't charge through as long as the crypt horrors are there. We have the high ground now, and while the enemies will rout and rally, we do have the superior positioning. Speaking of Lord and single entity hunting, Wilhelm has found the enemy a Ragnarok spider. And a Terrorgeist is probably a pretty solid mount to be fighting in a Ragnarok on. Although I do wonder how an Ragnarok would deal with an actual Terrorgeist. Like, realistically speaking, Terrorgeist swoops in from above, lands on top of the Howdah / on top of the Ragnarok. What is the Ragnarok going to do exactly? All the Gobos will instantly die as the Howdah collapses, and then what, the Terrorgeist just tears the spider to shreds, and the spider can't do much? I don't know. It depends. It depends on whether the mass of the Ragnarok prevents it from, like, rolling over and stuff like that, because if it does, yeah, it's it's not going to work so well. But hey, the Terrorgeists are anti-large specialists, so it would make sense for it to have an option to do that. Anyway, fight is going in our Lord's favor there. And frankly, the entire battle is going in our favor as the Crypt Ghouls, Horrors, and Feral Strigoi continue making their way further down the ramps and into the ranks of the enemies, which they tear apart and then allows them to move even further. Looks like with that, the enemy army gives up, knowing that they can do nothing else, and the battle is ours. And on top of that, we should be able to chase down a lot of the enemies because we just have so much poison application on all of our units, such that even their faster runners can't quite escape the ghouls. And definitely a very scary army by virtue of that. You just can't flee, and I guess our ghost armies work in a similar manner as well. And it looks like the Ragnarok was defeated by Wilhelm here. Oh, there we go, and that's a heck of a grim banquet for him from that Ragnarok. Beautiful. All right, very nice. The bait of the enemy army worked out quite well, and damn, the Feasters in the Dusk cleaned up. 432 kills, 44,000 damage. Yeah, that's a very, very high number for ghouls. They vastly outdid everyone. They, in fact, did as much damage as, what, 3 or 4 units of Crypt Horrors combined. Yeah, all right. That's what I call a regiment of renown, I guess, in this particular situation. Maybe they were just up against the ideal units. I suppose they were also first onto the map as reinforcements, and speaking of coming in as reinforcements, we were able to position the enemy quite nicely, force them into the choke point, force them to fight uphill, etc., etc., and it really worked well for us. Lovely. Return captives for the money, I guess. It's not like we're sufficiently hurt to warrant anything, and those units that died were raised as usual. And there we go, it looks like we do finally manage to actually reach the end of this turn, shocking as that is. Pigeon Plucker Pendant, Scarecrow Banner, didn't see that coming for Mannfred, and even more spell resistance. And just out of curiosity, what's his spell resistance at currently? And wins a magic power reserve capacity +5 own armies faction-wide. Oh, wow. I guess we should have been farming Kyros all along, but yeah. That's all fine. And King Hammer for Heinrich Kemler, but that doesn't really matter. We probably won't get too much value out of the interception. Spirit of the Jungle destroyed. That's interesting. And Hilbrand got wounded. Damn Tretch, we're gonna have to pay him back for that one. Razor Standard for Count Dorlog. Heinrich has a Banner of Eternal Flame, which frankly I'm not sure is going to be too useful for him at the current time. War Banner for Baron. Do you know who does need the War Banner? I don't even know who Baron is. Oh, the bait guy, yeah. Barded Nightmare Student. We don't need the students anymore, so we don't have to assign them anymore. Because we're over 1,000 research rate, which means we get it constantly. Corpse Cart Unholy Lodestone for Brain Collector. Shh, I'll deal with it later, if I ever bother. Barded Nightmare for Herman Wolfdrake. Wallach Harkin has a Hellsteed. Barded Nightmare, Barded Nightmare. Wow, lots of... like, okay, that's enough game. Too much. Allied missions. Let's take some allied missions, shall we? Ooh, Gorbat Ironclaw's back. I know where we're sending the ghouls next. I don't even know what his defeat trait is, and I'm quite curious. Alright, let's go for Gorbat. Dreadfleet. Tretch. And, oh, Morgar's back already. I mean, that's why we weren't, that's why it was perfectly fine to auto-resolve him. Yes, we'll take Tretch, and parts of Sartosa. We'll take... Shunbatar. Or Banning the Fabricator. Let's mix it up. Let's go for Shunbatar. Alright, there we go. And the Drowned have a mission as well, technically speaking. Actually, speaking of the Drowned, let's do... Wow, Thramute is worth 20? Let's do Thramute. We haven't taken a look at the vassal capabilities, vassalage, whatever, of the Drowned in a while. How are you looking? 68, okay, so that's not gonna happen. Oh. Huh. I lied, that is gonna happen. Do we do it right now? I mean, they're a fairly decent power up here. They'll become weaker if we vassalize them, but it's Mannfred, and he absolutely would, it feels like, do so. So, I guess we should. I mean, we're probably not going to get a better option. It will force us into a war with the Heralds of Ariel as well as... I mean, we don't care about that. As well as the Decadent Host, and similarly, we don't much care. I suppose there's a decent likelihood that the Decadent Host sail on down here, but by the time they do, I'm willing to bet the Red Duke will be up here as well. So yes, vassalize.
Of course!
Alright. Lovely, another vassal for us, and let's see, Tree Hammers. Nobody wants to trade, unfortunately, and everybody wants peace, nobody wants to trade, huh? Oh well, and ooh, we're near to the next level of Blood Kisses as well. Anyway, Manny, you're gonna real quick, I guess force them out of the garrison. Oh wait, we already destroyed the garrison. We did not destroy the... Yes, we did. What are you talking about, game? Why are you lying? I'm gonna just destroy them again. I guess they recovered fully? Why did the garrison recover 100? They were completely wiped out, and they were completely 100% back next turn. It feels like they should have come back up damaged, no? Am I wrong here? Return captives. Oh, we are in red territory. Let's hope that we can heal sufficiently here, because I'm not entirely sure. Auto was up. Oh, right, these guys were reforged. But the garrison wasn't previously all that reforged. Occupy. Alright, and this place has a Lodestone of Darkness. Not that. Don't collect the income. Terrifying Mask of E, student. Okay, all that steelies is great. What we need to do is Balefire Brazier and... I'm not entirely sure. Most likely growth, but we do want capacities. I mean, we're going to be using the entire place for capacities. The issue is that these capacity buildings have control reduction, which ain't so great. We could do the Noble Blood tax, but the places probably won't grow all that much. And we won't be able to take advantage of the growth. You know what? I'm just going to leave it alone for now, and I will think about it. You! Block this army. Gustav, you're going to chase him down. Also, can we... No. We can raise nothing there, at least not yet. Hey, success. And that doesn't give you exhaustion, which is also nice in case we find somebody else. Gustav, chase him down. And go for Grotrolex's lighthouse afterwards. Moves a teensy bit, but too teensy a bit. Auto-resolve, this better not hurt our ghosties. Heal them up to full, I guess. Alright, like so. Reptilian Ravager, another garbage item, and ally mission successful. You are going to pop into Necromantic Ritual. Ooh, what do we have here? 3.5k, not enough to raise a... yeah. I was hoping maybe a Mortis Engine, because we gotta get Mortis Engines to replace these corpse cards, but not yet, I guess. Alright, just move forward. Get ready to take the lighthouse. We also have to wait... we have not encountered Ashiotla, and when we do, he will most likely ambush us, so that's going to be a concern. You... do you want to break the siege and kill this off? Wait, we can't break the siege. Ooh, that would have been a mistake because you don't have siege attacker. Alright, so I guess we have no choice. So auto-resolve this and occupy it. I probably should be doing things in order than like this, but all good. And also out of here and then go into channeling. Alright, Talisman of Endurance, Jungles of the Gods is now ours, and Teclis is just about done for. Start repressing those mortals, as we like to do, and start up on that Balefire Brazier as well. Oh, probably should have... well, actually, the Balefire Brazier might be good here. Alright, let's do that. Statutory Lich Sense. Well, you don't need to assault those units. I was gonna say, you need to go steal tech. I guess the question is, from where? In fact, 13 turns. How many more not territories, but... Text we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 26 text. Oh, plus the vampiric, but okay, yeah, it's going to take a fair few turns, so we will need to steal more tech. Alright, fine, I guess you're heading down here. You can keep an eye on Slaanesh while you do. I suppose there's that. Also, Frederick, you're going to come down here as well. We are not going to keep you down here. We're going to just, I don't know, maybe take Volol tracks. And then, Curse of Cannibalism, Dawnstone, please, materials at sea. I feel like we've gathered a lot of islands and still no materials, unfortunately. Yeah, there's Abyssa. We will want to proper fight against her, but we'll probably send Wallach to do it, because Frederick will probably sail out this way. I feel like we don't need 2 armies to deal with it, and we will need plenty of forces to deal with Lustria. Not that we really care about Lustria at this point, they're just looking to crusade and have some fun army battles. Anyway, what was I looking for before all that got confusing? Ah, yes, Tretch. We need vengeance. A vengeance for the Batties. Let's level you up, and then let's head on into it. So, you have no real ranks as yet, unfortunately. Let's get you Invocation of Nehek and Curse of Undeath. Do we have Van Hell's Dance Macabre on you? We do, just no Raised Dead, which is appropriate. Let's max out... okay, Gaze of Nagash on you if we wanted to as well, but anyway, let's max out Wind of Death. Should be helpful against Skaven, should we need to do it, and let's get... I guess Dark Desires. Well, we could go for Onslaught. Yeah, you know what, let's go for Onslaught. Get a little bit of that extra weapon damage as we move. Vampires. You are both trying to head towards Dark Benediction, but also Seduction of the Lamians. We don't really care about the research rate as much anymore, but post-battle chance of stealing items and Diplo with all factions is just too nice. Yeah, technically the plus 12 melee defense of the martial practice of the Blood Dragons is very, very good, but this is a faction-wide buff, and I feel like it's, well... better. Anyway, other than that, you're gonna go into Impassioned, and we gotta start moving towards Dark Benediction, I guess. Yeah, just in case, get Grave Ward, because if the enemy stops you guys in your tracks up in the air, it's gonna be iffy. Let's do that. And more Seduction of the Lamians. There we go. Right. Who still has points? Oh, Wilmar himself. You need points into Creatures of the Night. To buff up the Flyers. Magical Animus. And that's all we got. Alright. Tretchy. You're gonna run. But probably... Oh, we're probably stuck in this guy's area of annoyance. Frankly, when these armies are functioning together, they're both too weak to really bother with. I guess what we could do is we could move here, hunt down Tretch, then move back, and then go after Thramuta and banning the Fabricator together at Crookback Mountain, which will probably have a lot of stuff in it, so that's how we'll do it. Go after Tretch. And Decisive Victory, obviously, it's not worth fighting. Banner of Swiftness on... You got a Scarecrow banner, eh? I mean, once again, I find myself wishing that we could have multiple Scarecrow banners. I'm gonna wait on that Banner of Swiftness. We should probably have a Banner of Swiftness on every Necromancer Lord army, because it makes the Necromancer Lords faster, and that's helpful. Let's go for... healing. So that you can advance. And can you raise bats again? And... Okay, no, still just the one. We don't have any more Engines here as yet. What are our bats? Oh, we can raise lots and lots of bats. Okay, so at least they'll be quick when we get them back. When we get them back. You go here now. You go into Necromantic Ritual because you need to heal. And who knows? Maybe these guys have more armies and will attack us. I do like that they're building Storm Vermin and Rictus Storm Vermin and Death Globes and stuff. Should be useful. Bathilda and co. We need somebody to go after Rickrick, and... Can Rickrick reach you? Or can you reach Rickrick? Yes. Alright, so let's quickly auto-resolve this. We're going to transfer all this anyway, so you go here, and Bathilda will reinforce. I assume we will be able to deal with this at once. Close to feet? No, it's not close to feet at all. March stance like so. Damn Tretch for declaring war on us right when we were about to declare war on him. Sneaky, sneaky. Oh, really? Really? This? I mean, they do have clan rats and stuff. This doesn't feel worth our time. We have better things to do. I might do this between the episodes if I remember. Who knows, we might have a better battle on our hands. Also, I noticed that we're at 12 blood kisses, meaning we can raise a new bloodline. And... I'm going to say we're going to go here. We're going to go Blood Dragon, and that'll get us 2 more Scarlet Knights, and the final level of their bloodline gives us immunity to attrition from a lack of corruption, which is just lovely. Actually, just out of curiosity... whatever, just stay in your current... Wait, doesn't this give you constant casualty replenishment rate? Huh. Okay, no that... Oh, and it took you out of the... Well, I got screwed over. Armies will suffer attrition. Oh, it's chaos corruption. Oh, and this isn't Tretch's territory. Well, we're gonna suffer attrition because because the game is kind of... It should have allowed us to go back into the ritual stance, but well, what can you do? Can't escape here now. Oh, well, what are you gonna do? What I wanna do here is recruit these guys, but... And we can't do it at the Temple Avenue of Gold anyway. Alright, fine. Since we're going to have you transfer stuff, we will have you, assuming that you can't raise any more stuff here, which you can't, go here. And Necromantic Ritual. And then we'll raise both of these guys, Scarlet Knights. And we'll see. Who knows? We've got lots of battle markers here. One of them might pop up more Blood Dragon Warriors or something in between the turns. Better if one guy carries all of them. Anyway, let's start going back through stuff in order. And also let us select some new text. I guess we're just going to go straight to Dread Animator for the upkeep reduction for the Grave Guard. There is also, you know what, we are using bats and numbers. Maybe we start buffing the bats a little bit. Since the Flyers have got, and the Flyers and the Doggos have all got to start fighting. You know what? I know what we're going to do. I know what we're going to do. Vladdy, you're going to go right here. Zacharias, you're going to transfer these guys to Vladdy. Vladdy, you're going to lose, I don't know, some stuff. Let's do this. Like so. And like, I don't know, you don't need these skeletons. And I guess lose some of the zombies. Maybe keep the zombies and lose the ghouls. And 1 zombie? Like so. We'll obviously change that up a little bit. What do we have in this army? Some stuff, but because they're in attrition territory, it looks like they're being damaged by the vampiric attrition, which is unfortunate for them. I guess we're not going to bring this army just to... Another black coach, eh? We could have put a black coach. Yeah, whatever. Let's just fight them. It is another book after all. And do we need to level Vlad? He only has the 1 point. You know what? Let's get the 1 point in Immortal levies then. Power up our low number, but good Sylvanian crossbows. Will be getting them even more effective than they were before. And Emmanuel Posner, who is always the starting vamp of this army. You will also go into Seduction of the Lamians, but we'll start with Arcane Conduit, though the Pit of Shades does tempt me. You do have Penumbral Pendulum maxed out, so... yeah, not horrible from the AI. Anyway, let's do this. Another book. It's about time. Declare war, declare war, declare war, attack. Alright, Pyrrhic victory. That's what I like to see. These guys, I assume, will have no fire resistance. We'll give this to Vlad. We'll give the war banner to you, and we'll give the gleaming pennant to, I don't know, the Vargulf. Ow. Could have just moved the reinforcements out. We probably won't need them anyway. Anyway, go.
Nuisance quashed! Let the slaughter begin!
Alrighty, here we go, Vladdy Daddy, back at it once more. It's unusual not to be running him as the main lord of the campaign for me, as I do love Vlad, but, well, what are you gonna do? For those unfamiliar with SFO, also, we've got a new addition to Vlad's abilities, and that is that he can now transform into a bat, which is really nice, because one of, well, probably the biggest issue for Vlad is that, as a lord, is that it's really hard to position him, as he is a foot lord and doesn't have the mass. Granted, in SFO he runs a lot faster than in vanilla, so it's a little bit easier to position him, but still, the bat is really helpful, especially as he and Isabella both have Storm of the Night and are very capable of their superiority. Anyway, he and Isabella and Emmanuel Posner will flit towards the enemy. Ah, cute little bat. Anyway, and interestingly, he can still cast while in bat form, which kind of surprised me, actually, because I wouldn't expect that to be so. Though I do wonder whether him switching to bat form will cause a desync in the battle, as that's a distinct possibility as well. As I remember last time I played the Lewin campaign, when you dismount Bretonnian Knights, it seems to cause a desync in the that particular campaign, so yeah. Anyway, looks like a Ragnarok is moving towards us, but we have those anti-large crossbows with the, for now, slight power-up from Vlad, and they will bring the first of the Arachnaroks down, while Isabella and Emmanuel work on the second Arachnarok, and Vlad works on Abhishek, a Blood Gatherer. He is also surrounded by Bestigors, but out of all the vampire lords, Vlad is not going to go down easy like this. Definitely one of the, well, as long as he has a healing cap, one of the most unkillable lords in the game. And it does tend to happen when you're fighting against Vlad, too, that he'll go down to like 20% of his HP, and then he'll activate his stuff, and then bam, he's back up to like 80% in a few seconds. Pretty crazy. Anyway, looks like the second Arachnarok now under fire from our Sylvanian crossbows. The enemy Minotaurs have charged forward and into our zombies, which will hopefully distract them, while the Vargulfs dish out the actual damage, and the same thing is repeating itself over on the left flank. Out here, we have charged the enemy Cygor with our Blood Knights, who have really rapidly forced it to rout, but the Blood Knights will now stick around and fight the enemy Bestigors, while the Black Coach will chase down the Cygor, or at least that's the idea. Maybe not the best use of the Black Coach, but everybody else is busy, including the Dire Doggos, which are chasing around the enemy Boar Boys. I love seeing Blood Knights fight. Just gotta keep building those vampire crits to get more Blood Knights and warriors. Alrighty, and the Blood Knights are damaged. Admittedly, they were fighting armor-piercing Bestigors and several other things, but not to worry, we can actually heal them up. As soon as Vlad gets here, which I see one bat, and that means Vlad's here to help out. That makes me wonder whether we should have, well, maybe we should keep some bats in his army just so that he can lead bats while in bat form. I don't know. Just so cute to have the one bat. Anyway, great addition, I gotta say. Alright, looks like the battle is nearly ours at this point. However, the bounce power is at about 90% in our favor. Our crossbows continue taking pot shots into the enemy minotaurs, which continue to flee the battlefield as they are brought down. The other minotaurs were still in the fight and are still in the fight, but the Vargulf, I'm sure, will take care of them. And are going to try to get a little bit of XP with our Strigoi Lord, but not going to use any of the other reinforcing troops. Alright, Minotaurs versus Vargulfs, probably jealous of the Vargulf size. I wonder who's bigger, Minotaurs or Crypt Warriors? And I'm not talking about their height now. I mean, because we got all that, you know, deadlifters and swole and whatever names for our crypt cores. I'd be interested in the size of the minotaurs. Anyway, looks like the enemy lord is done for, having been killed out by Isabella and Emmanuel, and with the fall of the enemy lord, it looks like the battle is completely ours. Really, the minotaurs were the only thing left on field anyway, and everything else will get chased down and destroyed. A lovely little fight. Too bad that the enemy army was, having been spawned here, was already damaged by the vampiric corruption, but you know what, at the same time, that feels appropriate, especially for Manny leading the faction. Alright, there we are, a lovely little fight. Of course, Vlad's army is as yet incomplete, and we gotta ferry those Sylvanian crossbows to him, but they're already doing plenty of good work, out damaging the Vargulf and the Bats and the Vargeist, etc, 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 and they will have even more buffs and get more powerful as they go. These 4 zombies, will be replaced by each a Sylvanian crossbow unit. So want at least one more Blood Knight in here, probably lose one of the doggos, lose the Black Coach, maybe get another... We can get another vamp here in here, since Isabella does buff them as well. And get access to the Lore of Death in addition to the Lore of Shadows. Anyway, we could heal up, but at the same time we're in our own territory anyway, so it doesn't matter. So return captives. We'll heal to full regardless, and there we go. That is whatever numberth Book of Nagash. I'm sitting Scabscrath. No, that's for necromancers, not for you. And 8th Book of Nagash, there we go. Probably the most important one, effectiveness of all commandments plus 100%, though I have a feeling it means we have to redo every commandment. As I recall, yeah, so see, it's not displaying anything doubled in its current state. This, wait, it used to be, it used to be growth plus 60, control minus 6. It's changed to growth minus 2, control plus 70. So it's not actually doubled, but it is changed. Interesting. Harvest corpses, less growth reduction, and income from all buildings goes from 10 to 15%. Oh, it's plus 100%, it's not doubled. But anyway, growth went from 60 to 70. That's definitely not 100% growth, I'd wager, but at the cost of the control. Still fairly interesting. But the repress mortals, I don't think anything's changed. I don't think... Ooh, wait, I know where we can check. No. Athaloran. We have... repress mortal commandments there. So, if you change to it, it's plus 8 control, still plus 5 research, and minus 1 for all... Wait, so the only difference is... Okay, wait, which territory do we own? Plus 6 minus 5 plus 5 versus... plus 8 minus 5 plus 5. So plus 100% means a plus 2 control. Not actually that huge of a buff, though I suppose it'll be bigger once we complete the Malevolent Museum, and then effects of Collected Book of Nagash is doubled. Still, the additional control is nice. The only issue is that, yeah, for it to come into effect, we have to essentially cancel this and then redo it to another one. Which is fine. We'll probably do Foster Terror in a bunch of territories as we start building the blood tax buildings, which cause negative control or growth everywhere. We'll need to counteract that with additional growth, which will be via commandment by the time that we don't need the research anymore. So we're getting there. We're certainly getting there, especially with one turn, with one tech per turn. Anyway, folks, with that, we're out of time. We're at the very least very close to it. Oh, maybe we can end the turn. There's only, well, okay, I'm not gonna do all the hero moves, but there might be still potentially an army to fight. Let's do a little bit of building, and then we'll move on. Maybe we'll get one more battle. Hey, Camry, up to tier 5. There we go. That means zombie dragons, folks. Been waiting on that one. At least I have. Rosetra and Doomglade. Yeah, sure, we'll upgrade you. Lamia's up to tier 4, which means more capacities for Mortis engines and stuff. Mortis engines and the Terror Geists, as well as all the Blood Dragon stuff. Good. Alright, you're gonna go for the Charnel Pit here, Central Jungles, Quixotla. You can go for Artisan Blood Tax, though we have to be careful about overdoing those. Yes, I'm leaving these slots in some places on purpose, as they'll be changed up to some stuff. You need to be tier 5 for the von Carstein Court Hall, which is okay. I like the character experience gain, the control faction wide. What we want to build here is a Vampire Crypt and a Forbidden Library. Frankly, we probably will want to build both. We'll also want this place to be reasonably defensible, so we will be building actual defensive garrisons in these locations for now. Eventually they will be deleted once they're sort of central to our empire, but for now, not a good idea. What's the likelihood that Castle Drakenhof will ever get hit by anything sufficient to actually warrant the Blasphemous Bulwark? Once again, I do feel like we want the Forbidden Library here rather than this, so I think we're gonna do that. I really sincerely doubt that anything will be strong enough to attack it anyway, so we'll do it later. Golden Pass, Teotiqua, you are fine for now, at least we're saving the point. Talaqua, let's upgrade the Balefire Brazier. Blightwater is fine. Northern Sylvania, some of the stuff has been deleted. You know, it would be nice to have all the military structures here. So we'll do this, and then we'll do another Forbidden Library. Yes, we really wanted Mortis engines in a lot of armies. We're finally building them, so within 3 to 4 turns we'll have an additional several capacities of them, which will be real nice for the armies that have been missing them. I'm just going to upgrade this because it'll probably get deleted eventually, although while the elves and chaos are still near us. Maybe not right now. Gibbet for you. Death Pass, Iron Rock. Let's go for Gibbet as well, and hopefully it won't get attacked by Gorbad. Eastern Badlands, we will go for the Balefire Hearth and the Gallows and leave the other spot, at least for now once again. Keep building those Charnel Pits, additional growth and additional necro capacity. Moot, we will want defenses, and we will want the Cursed Fields here. Blood River Valley, Baragda was back. Yes, we'll upgrade you under the assumption that we actually keep you. Demon's Gate will go for the Obsidian Quarry, and we will uncollect the income. Frankly, I should have done that last turn. We also have... we can counteract the Confederation Public Order debuff with a nice quest. We probably want to save it until there's only 2 turns left and then do Kemler's quest. Get as much value out of it as possible. Anyway, Jisoro Gap and the Abyssal Glacier, the last things. Fate Weaver's Crevasse, yes to the... oh, right, there was a reason I left that. One other thing we gotta do with regards to building is you. You are supposed to collect income now. It's only a +4, but you make a lot of money, and frankly, we should be making use of it. Yeah, and I guess we'll leave Repressed Mortals for now. Frankly, the additional growth might be a decent pick, because we'll want to upgrade Dread Rock as fast as possible. And frankly, once again, I am starting to think that we may want to switch everywhere into Foster Terror and the additional growth rate. It is +70. And this place has no real additional growth rate other than that offered by the ports, which is basically nothing. You know what, let's keep this just for a few more turns, because... yeah, the control is still quite low there, so yeah. Alright, let's get a move on. See if there's one more battle to be had, and then if we can find one. Kadon von Senkenhoff and Count Orlok. Now, you two are supposed to go down and grab Galbaraz, but while the rats are here, I fear that you won't be able to do so. Let's see if Ludwig can move towards Myrmidons. Gotta keep an eye out on Scryer/Ikeda. Oh! Arcan. Looks like he wants to go for the Beastman. That's curious. Good for him. Alright, you can't quite reach these guys, but you should be able to do so next turn, assuming that these guys don't take it from you. So watch out for these guys taking this stuff. Alright, Bone Daddy, go up here. You're... Oh, actually. You're supposed to be following Kadon. I mean, technically, these guys are all traveling together right now. Fine, fine, fine. All of you go down here. We will take out Zapspark here. And then we'll land right back. Just gotta make sure that this army is not hanging around. Alright, auto-resolve. I didn't check that the auto-resolve won't kill any of the other troops, but, well, let's hope that it doesn't, and we're okay. Take the money, because we'll heal up in our own territory just fine. Banner of Eternal Flame, Luckstone, etc. Ignored that, including the Standard of Discipline. Count Orlok and Kadon. Both go here, start moving towards Galbaraz, or... At least you start moving towards Galbaraz. We'll keep Warlock here just in case this full stack sallies out of Myrmidons. And let's get him a couple more Scorpions. We could also do Sepulchral Stalkers here. Assuming we have access to them. Yes, we do. Let's do some Sepulchral Stalkers. They have stock. They can work with the various ghouls. Just for a different sort of army. We'll combine ghouls, but not crypt horrors, and use sepulchral stalkers and tomb scorpions. Just for fun. We'll see how that army works out. I just want it to be able to function by itself without needing the other army. Anyway, we'll chase you down, and then hopefully go for Doc Karaz, or maybe even rush Stone Mine Tower before our allies do, or ignore it all, and then instead move towards Gorbad. Might also be the better choice. Alright, go after Snorko. Auto-resolve this, obviously. Faction's still at war with us, so they'll probably build another army, but not much we can do about it. Take the money. We may have built some stuff, but as we've seen, the Vampire Crypts and Forbidden Libraries are crazy expensive. Yeah, go this way. Baron, you're not really needed anymore. You were just there to bait, and... Assuming that there's no very high battle marker around here, and I don't see one, so I think you're not needed. I was wondering whether we should ferry some stuff around, but you're fine. Alright, who's up next? Alright, one of the recruiters, we actually want to check on you. What do we have here? Alright, so nothing interesting with the possible exception of the Hex Wraiths, which we do need to get Heinrich Kemler. But not from you, and then you're fine as you are. Other recruiter, you're fine as you are. Manny, why did I select you? I meant to select the Red Duke. Alright, the Red Duke. Grommy, I can't quite reach ya. Well... Let's move into channeling stance and move this way. And then your follower army will move along with you. It would be nice to attack these guys, but we can't leave Grom with a full stack running around because he could go for our undefended territories, so yeah. And Brain Collector, you have 4 more turns, eh? Enough time, I think, to assassinate some guy. Wound. Give it a shot. Nice, nice, nice. And then we have another Necro here. Malevolent. Missile resistance. Would thus be better with perhaps the Red Duke. He does have a fairly big line of infantry there. Although, he might need the Withering, because these guys will be or Witherer, because they might be casting. In fact, let's just double check that there isn't another Witherer available. Morbid Curiosity. Alright, we don't need any more Tech Thieves at this point. So that's no longer as viable. Let's get to you in Kemler's army then. Kemler does need one. And speaking of Kemler, he could either take Karakazor or hunt down this little force. Probably not both. Karakazor more important? Probably. Let's go to Karakazor, and then Techromancer, you can Steel Tech. Lovely. And, oh, you also don't have Siege Attacker. Darn! We need to put something in your army that gives you Siege Attacker. Way too many armies don't. Frankly, all ghosts, every single ghost unit should have a Siege Attacker. They can literally just pass through the walls. Unless the walls are warded, although, okay, fine, Dwarfen walls are probably warded to some degree, but, you get what I'm saying.
Dark magic is mine to command.
Greasy is moving up to Pig Barter. How close are we to declaring war on you, Greasy? You don't like us very much. And 3, eh? Well, they're still friendly with the northern provinces, but frankly, the northern provinces betrayed us, and I don't think Manny would... Well, he might appreciate it to some degree. Well, it's actually increasing now. Maybe they like us... Let's see. Yeah, but they still don't like the treaties with the Awakened and the Dreadfleet and the Pirates of Sartosa. I will think about it. As to whether we kill them or what. I guess we still have to go after Pig Barter. We can land there, but we can't quite... Oh, this will cause us attrition, won't it? Alright, fine. I use the port and then move this way. We also have to remember that we've declared war upon the Golden Order, and one of these guys will have to go after them, but for now, they can move together. And you might want to be acting as a plague ship while you have the plague up and running, because we don't want to be spreading it all over the place. Alright, and once you're going to stop moving, I assume this will jump? Yeah, it didn't jump. Could have moved down. A recruiter. Now you... Alright, these guys. All of these guys need to swap stuff. You are supposed to join Bathilda, so move this way. Bathilda will do this between the episodes. Wilmar is where he's supposed to be. A recruiter. I guess you're gonna go this way first to swap some units with Nazert. And you, recruiter, are going to double check if there's anything interesting here, but no. Alright, keep checking for that 4th Terrorgeist, which we really need / want. Alrighty, Hecanerus. Who are you again? Oh. Tyrion's going out. Well, you're not gonna win that, don't even bother. Just go out here. You're out here to grab islands, after all. I'm gonna go somewhere where there's no attrition, like here. Try to grab that sea corpse and keep on looking for islands while we have you. Might want to try to borrow another army since we're not really making any use of our allies, since they still don't have tier 5s. Still no tier 5. And still no tier 5. Granted, it does take a long time to grow up to it, so it's hardly surprising. Anyway, folks, I think with that, I'm probably going to call the episode. I guess we could still do the hero moving and then end the turn, see if somebody attacks us. Though we've already had, what, like 4 battles this episode? You, hunt... Wait. Vladdy, can you go into march stance? No. Alright, you hunt this down. Make sure that the army does not come back. And frankly, while we're at it, heal. Don't keep the Warrior Bane, and we could probably make use of you by various means. You can go into channeling, and you can take the other black coach from Vlad. He doesn't need it. And he won't continue using it, and he probably won't continue using all of these dire doggos, but until we get more Blood Knights, he can just hold on to them. Yeah, do this. And then... It's kind of going to bother me. We should raise another Graveguard with great weapons. It's probably just a temporary army. You recruiters stay here. And keep an eye on what you can recruit. Alright, now I think it's time to move the heroes around real quick, and then we can end the turn. You are supposed to join Helm and Gore, so you have a long way to travel. And frankly, let's take a look at the vampires and other heroes. Infamous, Transfuser... Insatiable and Sharpened Fangs. Okay, not what we want right now. Okay, well, that was easy. What about Banshees? You're not Banshees? Singular Spiteful, yes. Alright, so I think this is the closest Banshee we can get to Kemler, so... Spiteful. You're gonna start moving this way, and then Marcella, you're the other Banshee that's supposed to join Kemler, so... I guess start moving this way. Actually, not that far. If we could take Myrmidons, we could use the Porta and then... Myrmidons, and then... make use of it. Ooh, Bloody Mary, I see that you leveled up, meaning Assassinate is at a higher level now, though unfortunately you are still exhausted, so we'll have to ignore you. Gossamer Garrot, try again. And failure, darn. We'll need 2 more of the bloodlines, so we're certainly getting there. Life Subtractor, you have techs to steal. Alright, we need to make sure that we steal some tech again, because they're starting to run out of tech thievery, and that's not so great. What are you at? Oh, you're exhausted, so it doesn't matter. Brains, what about Undead Researcher? You can keep stealing tech from here. And this is why I usually do the sort of tech thievery between the episodes. I suppose if you're watching the episode, or these campaigns to go to sleep, this doesn't bother you all that much, but if you're waiting for a battle, it may be a bit of an annoyance, rather. But once again, that's why I usually do it between the episodes, and by and large, we'll continue to do it as such. Alright, failure, whether it's success or failure, doesn't matter. Let's see if there's anybody else. Thanatologist, you're the only one over on this side of the map, eh? Go to Oishul. I see there's some heroes here, so we could potentially try to assassinate some jerks. Definitely potential for that. And 2 more. Grave Robber and Body Snatcher. Grave Robber, we will move you to, I guess Calbaraz is the only option. Just gotta remember to do it before we deal with that, and then use Steel Tech here. Alright, success and... Hello? Oh, you can't move that far. Right. Alright, and I believe that's the last one, which means, ignoring the recruiters and stuff, we can end the turn. I hope I didn't forget anything, but if I did, it's too late to do anything about it now. Go. Alright, let's see if, like the previous end turn, anybody will attack us, and by ending the turn now, this will allow me to do the next round of tech thievery and assassination between the episodes, so that we don't have to do it on screen. Which is why I like to do... Oh, but it does mean that I didn't do the little mini battles. Oh well, I'll do them between the episodes anyway. And just a single turn of these guys locked in place, and hello! A defensive garrison fight, well that's a new one, with a ton of malevolent dryads with us. Alright, let's do this. This is definitely a new one. I'm actually going to be curious as to whether we can pull this off. That's a lot of range units. Might have to sally out. We do have defenses. This should be pretty interesting. Yeah, go. Alright, here we go. I am very excited about this. I know it's a minor battle, but these things just have a tendency to be really fun. On top of that, I guess this is a heck of a variety hour episode this time around. What we fought beastmen, we fought orcs, we fought skaven, we fought dwarfs, and now we're fighting wood elves all in one episode with 5 different armies at that. Pretty great campaign, just sheer battle-wise. Anyway, the fun thing about these smaller battles is that you always have a very big chance to lose, and we don't have a lord to rely on, we don't have any fancy spellwork to rely on, no veteran units, and even our units are unupgraded, so we definitely have to work for our victory. Now the way that we're going to do this is thus. We are going to advance the Karen race. They've charged ahead of the formation of Graveguard into the enemy giant wolves, who they will hopefully rip apart with their physical resistance protecting them, and then we'll move on towards the feral bears out here, but try to avoid the enemy malevolent dryads because forest spirits have magical melee damage and missile damage, I guess, and thus, actually, their missile damage is not magical. Well, their melee damage is, so it doesn't matter. And we will want to avoid them ripping apart our cairn wraiths. Great Hawks have for some reason decided to touch down on the Graveguard with great weapons, but they're going to get torn apart. Anyway, the other units are heading over here as well, and the Crypt Ghouls are going to get around the enemy army and then hopefully run down the Malevolent Dryads. Now, you may notice that this is just a minor, sort of very small portion of the enemy army, so we're going to try to destroy this army and then get back into defending the rest of the settlement before it gets overrun. We have left behind 2 units of Graveguard with great weapons, and I'm now thinking I should have done the Graveguard with shields here instead, but whatever. A little bit late for that, who are going to hopefully take advantage of this magic tower while they hold the enemy tied back. Let's see if it all works out, shall we? Alright, looks like the Hawks are in very bad shape, but landing them right into the pile of Graveguard with great weapons was always going to not work out so well, and the Great Hawks are a very fragile unit as well. Cairn wraiths are going to move aside and avoid the big ol' damn. Look at the Cairn wraiths just melting apart as they get crushed beneath the feet of the ancient tree man. It didn't even look like it was casting, just moving through them and they were dying. Alright, definitely have to be wary of that. And of course of the Dryads, though the Malevolent Dryads with bows do look fantastic. I have always absolutely adored the color scheme of the Malevolent Dryads. I think they look so much better than the regular color scheme of Dryads. And the Wraiths of the Frozen Heart look nice as well, the Frozen variant, the Regiment of Renan. But anyway, these guys are just tops. Anyway, as planned, the Cairn Wraiths have peeled away and are now going after the bears. The bears don't have magical damage, unlike the Forest Spirits, and the Cairn Wraiths should be able to bring them down. And gotta rely on rock, paper, scissor tactics here, as it's going to be necessary to win. Ooh, a big ol' volley from the enemy Waystalker here. It's got a 90-second cooldown on those. We can't be letting him volley again, so we're going to send the Fellbats to annoy the Waystalker while we try to fell the big old tree. The Ancient Tree Man is casting something, not entirely sure what it is, but is now surrounded by Graveguard with great weapons and halberds alike. Still, I'm sure the big old tree man will bring down a fair few. 29 kills and 4.2k damage at this point, and that's a lot of damage that we can't really take right now, considering there's another Malevolent Ancient Tree Man and a full stack on the way. Fortunately, this one is down to half HP now and at least shaken, and our lord is moving back in to help out. The bears have fled, and it looks like the ghouls have destroyed the malevolent dryads, though the enemy reinforcements have arrived. Our lord Vampiress is on the field now and is casting her Spirit Leech, as well as directly attacking the enemy lord, who appears to have shattered as the rest of his army was shattered and or destroyed as well. Alright, the next phase will be the reinforcing enemy army, who are moving towards the choke point. Our ghouls and our crypt horrors will of course disappear as they all have stock, so the enemy can no longer see them, and they're going to try to get around the entire enemy army as well. Now let's see if our Grave Guard, in limited numbers as they are, will be able to hold the enemy back. They will charge directly towards the Malevolent Dryads and the Ancient Tree Man, and then we will use one of our active abilities, because we have a defensive garrison building here. The building gives us the Face of Death ability, which allows us to summon zombies on the field 3 times. So we're going to summon them right on top of this unit of Malevolent Dryads and Glade Guard. Malevolent Dryads with bows, I should say. And just block the mob, distract them, etc, etc. And if the other enemy Dryads want to fire into the zombies, well, that would be just fine. And I also noticed that the Face of Death Dryads also do have the ward save and physical resistance and the Ravenous Dead traits that make the that we've got from Gorst and from Tex, which is really, really nice. So it's a, well, I hesitate to say a powerful unit of zombies, but it is a unit of zombies that will take a long time to bring down. Alright, our tower continuing to fire into the middle of the enemy Dryads, but the Grave Guard would have brought them down, I'm sure, regardless. And though it's going to take a lot longer to bring down the enemy lord. Our ghouls and our Cairn Wraiths are still attempting to get into formation, and the enemy has blobbed up a ton of those Malevolent Dryads with bows. So as soon as we get to them, we should be good to stop at least most of them from firing. In the meantime, it's classic sort of Vampire Count's defense. Just bog the enemy down and hold them back in the choke point, tire them out, and allow the tower to do work. And of course, allow the rest of our units to try to close back with the Grave Guard that are holding the enemy. We are very, very, very slow. And it's going to take a while to arrive here, but, well, hopefully we'll get there in time. Anyway, it looks like this first unit of Dryads with bows is out. We've moved one of our units of Grave Guard ahead, because we need to try to close the distance with as many of the enemy bow units as we can. And once again, want as few of them firing at us as possible. I suppose, though, if I had put the units of Grave Guard with sword and board rather than the great weapon variant here, we probably would have had a more difficult time actually doing damage, even if we'd be taking less damage from the enemy bows. So there is that to consider. And the enemy lord is down to half HP. Those Grave Guard with great weapons really working for us now. Tower continues firing shots into the big old blob here, while the zombies continue to hold, and now down to half HP since the arrival of the additional Dryads and the feral bears. The zombies that were summoned over on the other side of the map are moving forward and will eat many an arrow, I'm sure, but they're here just as a distraction. Same with the other newly summoned zombies. Keep firing into them and ignore the Cairn Wraiths and the Crypt Ghouls that are moving in. And frankly, the Dryads pretty much don't have anywhere to run at this point, crushed as they are between zombie here, and zombies here, plus the choke point, and the Ghouls and the Cairn Wraiths have arrived. Do still have to be careful about the Cairn Wraiths, most definitely, as they will not be able to fight long like this, but hopefully their charge and combination with the ghouls will dish out enough damage before we back off and use the Cairn Wraiths to chase enemies rather than fight directly, as once again, their fragility against the magical damage of the enemy will mean many of their number will probably fall. Gonna join them with a few batties, but it's mostly just to cause a morale shock to the enemy and allow the Caronmates to retreat. We can see them dying here and there. These guys are very quickly, a few seconds of charging a missile unit in the side/back, and they lose like 60% of their HP. Once again, the ghostly units are very fragile like that. But that's what one of the things that makes them really fun to play. Anyway, the enemy lord is now booking it on out of there, and rather than having the much slower Graveguard chase them, we're just going to use our lord to bring him down, and a couple more hits should fell the big ol' ancient tree man. They were supposed to do that on cue. Okay, well, the tree man will die eventually. The rest of our army has arrived now as well. Skeleton warriors and Graveguard with sword and board and halberd have moved on, and the halberd should take care of those bears, and the sheer mass of troops will probably, if not be immune to the enemy range firepower, will at least not be nearly as vulnerable to it. Mostly because the damage will be spreading itself out, and without the enemy lord to potentially cast something like an Awakening of the Wood in them, the blob will carry the day. Looks like the bears have realized that, smart bears, and will back off. The balance of power shifts to about 70% in our favor, and the enemy back line is in trouble. Our crypt ghouls are taking damage as well, now down to about half HP. Not perhaps as damaged as our Caronmates got within a few seconds. Of course, the crypt ghouls have been fighting this entire time, but still dangerous enough for them. Fortunately, the enemy is being slowly but surely cleared out of the choke point, and is now just attempting to retreat towards its back line of malevolent dryads with bows. Chase them all down, and it looks like the battle is ours. A lovely, lovely rarity, this defense, and I really enjoyed it. Beautiful. And we're going to do our best to try to chase down as many of the enemies. Of course, most of our army is slow, but between the Caronmates and the ghouls, hopefully we'll do enough damage so that we won't see these guys again until we send Vlad to hunt them down and take their territory. Alrighty, there we are. For those of you that remember the Vlad campaign, the Vlad and Isabella campaign from way back in the day, we had so many more defenses there. We haven't really had any in this particular campaign, so it's nice to see a minor settlement defense, which is such a rarity now, and be victorious at it as well. Very, very happy. We, by and large, destroyed this enemy army. We still have to take out Drake's forces in order to get that, Morgheim landmark. And they might actually return, who knows, we shall see. Anyway, obviously with that, we are now definitely, most definitely out of time. Oh, Clan Angren and Karazakarek are one now. Well, there'll be nothing, eventually. Anyway, Grimgor oh, what, that I have not seen before, who the heck? Tamurkhan. Tamurkhan killed Grimgor and destroyed his faction. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. And a decent likelihood that Tamurkhan attacks us eventually, too. Alright, I like having some extremely tough foes around. Technology research, that's great, and all of this is great, but anyway, as I was saying, we are out of time now, definitely, and I'm gonna call the episode here. Next time we'll probably... Festus is nearby. Probably start moving outward from Sylvania. We may need another army here, as this is just a lot of stuff to be getting on with, completely surrounded by foes. In a way, it's the way that Mannfred was supposed to be, but we obliterated our foes rather quickly in Hekara, and didn't have to deal with constantly being surrounded and constantly at war on every border. Vlad might, until the rest of our empire reaches him, have a little bit of a tougher time of it, but, well, you gotta work to be emperor, I suppose. Anyway, more vamps to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, especially the threshold for the hour-long episodes. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.